to welcome you all to the wrap-up of pretty much our Music Business Month. This is our third annual Music Business Month that we've actually had, and tonight we're going to actually have a guest speaker. She is the founding music director and conductor of the internationally acclaimed Chicago Modern Orchestra Project. Everybody please give a warm welcome for Miss Renee Baker. Okay. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for accepting. All right, so I see you all around all the time, and it seems like you're heavy into the music industry, so that's why I wanted to kind of pick your brain, especially with conversations that we've had in the past. One thing I would like to know that I usually ask everybody is, how did you first discover your love for creating music?
Oh, Lord. So now we want to talk about when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I've been playing music since I was like 5 and 6. Started on the violin and moved to the viola. I've been in youth orchestras in my entire youth, and I spent almost 26 years as the principal violist for the Chicago Sinfonietta. So I retired about 7 years ago. Yeah, I'm that classical musician, who decided that while I was in the orchestra, I stayed in that lane. You know, because no point in dabbling, because you wouldn't really be super great at anything. And I wanted to make money doing it. So I needed to get to as high a level as I could, which meant collaborating with musicians from the Chicago Symphony, lyric, opera, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, I'm going into my 4th year as a visiting resident artist with the Chicago Symphony. So I play ball on both sides of the fence. I'm also, though, a member of the AACM. Anybody know what the AACM is? Well, it's the people that do the crazy music. The Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians. So if you're familiar with the Art Ensemble of Chicago, or April Souls, or, oh God, there's tons of musicians involved, but this, in many people's eyes, is looked at as alternative or creative music. So I started approaching the creative music, which also leads into jazz and swing and everything, as an identity. This collective was started in 1965 because, you know, black musicians wanted somewhere. Was founded in Chicago. They wanted somewhere to play the music. So, of course, I find out about this. I'm approached by someone who says, "We think you know, should join this." And I thought, yeah, but I don't do that crazy stuff. I'm classical. You guys do that because you can't do what I do. See, I was very snooty, but that's where I was making my living, in the symphony. But in accessing and trying to figure out what it was with this other music, I knew I had to do something special in order to understand it. Now, the bridge between the classical music and all the way to the crazy, in the meantime, there's hardly an artist that your parents would know of that I haven't played with. Everybody from Aretha to Diana Ross to Smokey, Soul Train, all that, as a string player and as a contractor. Moving forward, I managed the Joffrey Ballet Orchestra for 10 years. Moving forward, I decided, well, okay, I don't really understand this creative nonsense that I'm hearing. Because these musicians are doing everything that my teachers told me don't do. All that scraping and squeaking and squawking. So I decided, in order to understand it, I needed to start writing it. Because you know, when you're learning a foreign language, you need to write it. That's a way to help you to get it inside. So that was my way to trying to understand the language, the vocabulary, and the vernacular of what that music out there was. Fortunately for me, when I started writing, I said, okay, well, if I can get it down on the paper, then that means symphonies can play it. Because symphonies don't want to play squiggles and bleeps and blurps, they want to play notated music. So, guess what? My undergrad was in performance, in violin and viola. So then I went back to school, got my master's in music composition. Then I went and got my doctorate in music composition because I need to understand the insides of everything that I approach. Next thing I know, symphonies were commissioning works. My stuff has been played at symphony centers, been played at museums, concert halls, all over the place. Okay. Did I know I was good at it? No. But I knew I wanted to understand it so I could either do it or dismiss it. So that was my journey to creative music.
Okay. So let's talk about those commissions. So I found that you actually had works commissioned before local places such as like the Shedd Aquarium, the Adler Planetarium, and also the Chicago Film Center, or University of Chicago Film Center. How were you able to land those gigs?
There's no magic to it. It's about being visible. It's about being visible and people knowing. So people said, okay, first of all, I have my own orchestra, full symphony. I started my own orchestra in 2007. It started out as Mantra Blue Free Orchestra. By 2010, we had become a 501c3, Chicago Modern Orchestra Project. But before then, in the early 80s, I had orchestras. People just weren't talking about, oh my God, it's a black woman with an orchestra? People think black people have combos, quartets, duets. No, not orchestras, okay? So you have to talk the talk and do the work. So in writing the commissions and things, you call people, you identify yourself, you write letters, you put together literature that describes who you are, what you do. Find ways to let people know who you are. It's easier now than when I started. There was hardly email. There wasn't even email when I started. We didn't have computers in the house. I know, as hard as that is to believe. There's no texting. There were no cell phones. Everybody had landlines, right? I know, oh God, she really is talking about when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But that's when I laid the foundation. When I laid the foundation for my business. You have to be aggressive and assertive about what it is you say you have a passion for. If you can't identify the passion, who's gonna pay you for it? Because you don't even know you have it. And so then it means you sure haven't developed it. And you can't use the 3 or 4 little friends around you who are probably not necessarily your friends to tell you, yeah, man, that's right. Yeah, go for it. Sometimes you have to go outside and get other people's opinions. Sometimes maybe even people you don't necessarily respect, but you know they have a certain level of knowledge. Okay, so how do I get commissions? I've been in the business almost 40 years. If I wasn't not getting work, then I need to stop and just sit in the rocking chair and be done. But it's a big ball of wax. Because I sat in the symphony all those years, and I did just that, I wanted to be known as the best viola player, because first of all, there were no other black principal string players in this country. Period. But was I paying attention to that? I was just practicing. So that when I bust out the gate, I wanted to be sure that my skill set could compete anywhere. So every summer, where was I? In Europe. Every summer. I would go there, I'd go to festivals, I took private lessons, I would audition for stuff. I auditioned for everything from the Air Force Orchestra to what, I just wanted to see where my skill set landed. And so I probably was about 22, 23, when I said, okay, this is it. Now I had the undergrad degree, but I thought, okay, so what am I gonna do? So started auditioning for orchestras, I landed, okay, the orchestra gig that kept me here all these years, right? In the meantime, you say, okay, well, I've got an identity over here, but nobody likes to feel that somebody knows everything. But what I know, and I work on it. So from being in Sinfonietta and managing all these other orchestras, why wasn't it an easy move that I would start my own orchestra, right? I know the orchestra business inside and out, okay? So I did that. So now I'm writing, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm not gonna wait till I'm dead for somebody to play my music. Your own orchestra. Duh. Okay. If you were gonna open a sandwich shop, you would borrow money, you would do whatever you had to do to get meat and bread, because you can't call yourself a sandwich shop if you don't have sandwiches, right? So I decided, okay, I'm gonna be a composer. If I don't get it played, then it's just paper. So I need somebody to play my stuff. I ain't waiting. For my own. Started my own concert series. People were like, oh my goodness, South Shore Culture Center. Did my own concerts, everything there for 4 years. Paid for it myself. What happened next? People were like, oh shit, I'm getting 700, 800 people coming in each concert. I'm giving them free to the community. Yep, advertising, promo. Next thing, I'm getting calls from the city of Chicago. Oh, we doing a Soul Train thing at Millennium Park. 30,000 people get to see your stuff. Got it. Yes, I've done TV shows. It just comes. It's not just about commissions from orchestras. I write for jazz groups. I write for colleges. I write for conferences. I do music festivals abroad. I mean, I just do a lot of stuff. But it's all related. It's all interrelated. But it's all got to be good. You know, you got to put your time in so that I'm asking you guys, have you seen Rhythm and Flow? Oh!
I don't think anybody's seen it. I haven't even seen it, so.
See, you know, some people ask me why I stay in Bolingbrook. Because it's like a haven for me, a sanctuary. Please go on Netflix and watch that show. Because as crazy as it may seem and competitive, that's what you're up against, especially those of you that are looking to be in the rap game. You have to go hard or go home. Otherwise, you're going to enjoy your little time in rap, and then you're going to go on and live a real life. If you want it, you got to be hungry, and it's got to be a passion. And you got to be good at it, okay? So just be out there. That's how you get the work. Be out there. I do not have to hustle, and I'm sorry to say that, but I'm happy to say that because it's been years and years of putting in time and being sure that your product, what you put out there, is stunning. Stop looking at people on the left and the right. Don't care what other people do. Do you, your phone will ring. Your phone will ring. Believe me, it will ring and ring. And you'll be able to say, yep, I'm not interested in that, but thank you. I'm really happy to get that call because you want to stay involved, but you have to be out there. How many times do I talk to people and they say, yeah, I'm a producer. Not you, but I'm talking before you. But and you got nothing out there for anybody to see. Yeah, I'm a rapper. You got any mixtapes? You got no, well, you know, I was thinking about, I was trying to, I'm getting ready to, you know, my friend. None of that translates into dollars, and that's really what you want. What is celebrity? Celebrity is someone that just gets seen a whole lot. I prefer cash. Because there's lots of people who, when I walk into venues, when I go to see my own movies, I sit there just like this in the back, and people don't know who I am. I do not care. The check is cashed. I'm not a model. I don't care if you see me or not. Do your work and learn to monetize it. It's not about the money, but if you're prepared to just do it forever for free, then do that. And have fun with it. But I wasn't prepared to not be able to monetize what I do.
So how did you transition into like the business side? I guess that's a good question.
Transition?
Yeah.
No. I was in business from 18, from my teens. I started out working in hotels, doing, we formed a string quartet, and we started doing receptions and weddings. We were working every week. That's a whole industry. Now, that ain't what I want to do forever, but people pay for weddings. People pay ungodly amounts of money for weddings, for rubber chicken and whatever else they eat, and flowers that are gone in 2 days. Find something that you can be good at. Then when I moved here, I started a wedding business, Connoisseur Musica, and I joined photographers, florists, and caterers. And so our agreement was, if one of us got a gig, then you recommend the other three. Mm-hmm. And then we just started with, I've worked every wedding venue. I've played famous weddings. I've played all kinds of stuff. You just get out there, okay? And people, I saw you at Lyndon Johnson Rice's wedding. I saw you, here's my code. Just do business. Then, the way I started getting into doing shows and things is working with the orchestras. I got in contact with a cultural center that did shows. And I said, well, I got an orchestra. You bring in artists. You need an orchestra, right? Because not everybody's doing stuff with quartets. So one of my first shows was with Al Jarreau. They said, Al Jarreau was coming. No, we need an orchestra. I said, cool. Michael Feinstein. There was no holes. My product was tight. My people were dedicated. You surround yourself with people who have your back. And then, I've gotten calls from everybody from, oh my goodness, I can't even go through it.
Recently.
I don't do so much of that kind of stuff right now. The last TV things I did were for Fox. And there's a show called Christmas Glory and Easter Glory, and they had like Al Jarreau, Brian McKnight, Santita Jackson, the Winans, that kind of stuff. So I do a lot of gospel stuff too. And if you tune in to Channel 9, I don't even know what time the show comes on. Channel 9, I've been the music director for Singsation for years. You probably don't know what Singsation is. Well, it's Willie Wilson, the one that just got finished running for governor, and I'm his music director. So I conduct the orchestra. We're on 52 weeks a year. On Channel 9, I'm thinking it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, but it's a weekly show, and I do a lot of recording. And so I bring the musicians, and we go to WGN, we record the show. See, so there's all sorts of things that you can do if they know your name, if they know you are there. They have to know that you're there. So don't be embarrassed about promoting yourself. You don't have to be, a butt about it. But if you sell sandwiches and you just stand on the street and you got no sign and you just stand there, why do you expect people to know you got sandwiches inside that thing? It's silly. What? Telepathy? Buy my stuff. You got to tell people. You got to tell people. There going to be people who shoot you down. So what? Just do what it is you want to do. There is no, and one of the things I thought about is there's no easy answer to, so what kind of contact should I make? Who should I call? Because your arena is going to be different than my arena. Just get out there. Make yourself aware of what's going on in what you say your line of work is, so that people won't cheat you, and so that you actually see, hopefully, a living wage or even a good part-time wage from what it is that you say you want to do. Now, if it's not a passion, then stop faking it. If it's not a passion, Just go on and do it on the side and have fun. If it's a passion, then you deserve to be compensated for your work and your intellectual property. It's very, very simple.
Actually, speaking of Tip, I once heard him in an interview, and he said something that always sticks with me to this day. He said, "Handle your business before your business handles you." Especially when that really brings that to mind when you talk about copyrighting your music. Has there ever been a situation that you regretted where just any type of business dealing or something that you wish you would have done, like if I knew it back then?
No, but here's the fact. I don't have time to regret. I got time to work. If I mess something up, I'm coming after you. Seriously. I might not win, but I'm coming. And if I can't get the money from you, I'm gonna blow you up on Facebook. I'm gonna blow you up some kind of way. No, I'm very protective of my work. I do get lots of calls from orchestras who say, "Can we have a perusal copy, a perusal score of your work?" Yeah, I know what perusal means. Perusal means look at and don't pay for. So, if you would like a work, then you contact me and we talk, one-on-one, we establish a relationship. A lot of people say, well, how does, orchestras aren't gonna buy your work. I said, you know what, that's already been proven, it's already being done, so next. I get calls from record companies. They said, wouldn't you like, we would love to record you. Really? And we think we can do a good package for you and promote you and get you more visibility. And my answer is, how did you find me? You're a record company, and you're aware. I handle my own label. Ha. I'm on a lot of other labels because I've worked as a sideman with other musicians. I'm on Delmark, I'm on this, I'm on that. But all my stuff is on my own labels, and I got more than one label. And none of them people identify as me because I don't have anything that says Renee Baker Productions. I don't need you to know who it is. I just need you to buy it. That's right. So I do the same thing with my films. You only get a minute of what I'm giving you online. A minute. If it's a museum or a gallery that wants to do an installation or something, I give you 4 minutes. But you still ain't getting the rest until we go to contract. Simple as that. So no, I really don't have a lot of regrets about how I've handled the business side of things. And there's still always tons of things to learn because technology is always going. I've done film screenings, I've done film festivals where there are people up on stage almost in front of the movie screen trying to record. And I've had to tell people, I'd stop film, say, you know what, all y'all need to get down off that stage or we're not playing another note. And if I see it on YouTube or anything, I'm coming after you. Don't you know somebody did it anyway? 2 days later, I get a film on YouTube. It's my hands, and they got their thing on my score. They beat it in on my music score, okay? She didn't think I could find her. In Champaign, I found her. Said, you got an hour to get it down. Churches in Chicago, you got an hour, get it down. Where was the last one? Seattle. I'm at the Earshot Jazz Festival. I've got all these scores. My stuff is really out there, really out there. And a photographer came up while I was talking to some patrons and shot my score. Before I could get to the restaurant from the show, he had posted my scores on Twitter and Facebook. I ate my dinner. And then I said, okay, now we got a battle. He said, well, I've done it. I've shot other composers. I said, you know what? This is your privilege talking. You got an hour to get that score down. And I want an apology online where you put the scores. Because if you're bold enough to put my music out there, you're sure gonna put that apology out there too. So there's lots of stuff that's going to come your way. Just handle it quickly, and move on, because anything else takes time away from your creating your work.
And that's one thing I always try to tell a lot of people, especially downstairs, about the cease and desist act, because you have a lot of the YouTube rappers that they go on YouTube and take the beats and they want to put their lyrics on. They can get royalties off of that, or they can tell you to cease and desist, or they can take the money, get the money from you. You have a whole collection of people that are down there with you that actually produce, that actually make their own beats. You don't have to take these beats off of YouTube. That's one thing I always try to tell them. I mean, how do you feel about the YouTube rappers?
I don't care. Because where is it going? And are they using it as a vehicle to learn? It's on you to safeguard your stuff. So if some kid grabs your stuff off YouTube and you don't have it copyrighted and they make a hit, okay. If somebody grabs something off YouTube, I mean, wait and see what they do with it. Or if you really hurt, contact them. You can trace things. Next question.
So, as far as talking about displaying work, we actually have two pieces from you. Now, with your permission, would I be able to play that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Just start it where we started it, and then we're just going to go for like a minute or two, and then you'll have some other kind of crazy questions.
Okay.
Go forward. Now stop it. Now, here's what I always ask people when they hear, I've had thousands, hundreds of CDs. We produce them ourselves. Okay. What I get when I go to a lot of colleges, because I do a lot of clinics, people say, oh, that just sounds like just improvised music. That's just people just making noise. I said, well, see, you're in college because you don't know everything. That's why you're here. So I can show you the score. But I can make it sound like improvisation if I want, or I can make it sound like Bach if I want. But that's what happens when you work with the same group of musicians. Many of these musicians are people that I've worked with from the Chicago Sinfonietta, Lyric. They do everything. And when I first started and was working to explain the concepts of what it was that I wanted to do, people said, this ain't gonna work. She don't know what she doing. Till they get the first check. And it's like, that's funny. Whoa, okay. So then the questions about intonation and rhythm and all that, those questions go away suddenly. It's just kind of like, okay, now we just need to pay attention to what it is that she is saying. Because if we don't, we're gonna miss something. So going all the way back to your question, I score movies very, very differently than anybody that I know. And I do it live. I don't know how to do the electronic stuff, and I'm glad I don't. I use live orchestra and producers and movie houses and stuff. They'll split their resources between people who do garage band and all that other stuff. But then they come back and say, you know what, but there's that lady in Chicago who's got an orchestra. If we want to get a little bit of live, let's do her. Let's get her. So I get calls from Switzerland. One of the movies that I just put out, I just showed it in Portland, Oregon, the first week in October. was a movie that a friend of mine in Switzerland sent to me. He said, we compete a little bit. He said, I bet you haven't seen this. I don't care if I've seen it or not. If I like it, I'm gonna put a score on it. And pow, took it to Portland. It's also going to be the Portland Art Museum has something called the Northwest Film Forum, so they want to show it. It's been shown at Indiana University. There's articles being written about it, because like, oh Lord, this black woman found a 1930 movie with Paul Robeson in it that's still silent. Talkies came in 27. There's a 1930 movie made abroad with Paul Robeson and his wife. I found that thing. I had a score on that thing so fast. Put it out there. I don't need a distributor. I got a phone. I got a computer. Who can't you contact in this world? Who can you not contact? Who is not on Twitter? Donald Trump's on Twitter. Every movie theater, every concert hall, everybody's online. And what can they say? There's 2 answers. No, 3. Yes, no, maybe. I can deal with any one of those. The no's I discard. So now we work on the yeses and let's think about it. Because a lot of those maybes can turn into yeses, but you got to pursue them. The screenings that I just did in Portland, I'm going to tell you how that happened. I went to a coffee shop with my brother. They were doing some construction work. I said, y'all got room in here for a screen. You show movies? They said, no. You wanna? They said, yeah. When are you coming back? I said, I'll be back in October. I said, pick 2 dates. I'll bring the films. Simple. And while I'm in there, 2 people come in. One guy says, you know what? You're from Chicago. Do you know the conductor of the Grant Park Symphony? I said, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. He probably doesn't know me, but tell him what you just saw tonight. He said, well, he's my neighbor. See, just do the work. So here it is. I'm just trying to help this place called The Stacks, a venue in Portland, because they're friends of my brother. I say, okay, screens, projectors, all that. Screening, folks, popcorn, boom, contact. It's that simple. I'm not trying to oversimplify it. My first symphony that was played at Symphony Center here was because I played a wedding in Hyde Park. But you know how a lot of people use wedding books, how those bands go, and the society bands, they play their rep. I wrote my own wedding book with all my own music in it. And I had the musicians play it. There was a conductor there, society wedding, a conductor who said, wow, could you tell me something about this music? I said, did you like it? He said, yes. I said, it's all mine. He said, oh my God, okay. Would you be interested in writing a string piece for my orchestra? I said, nope. I said, you got a whole orchestra? No, I'll write for that. First commission, Symphony Center. I won't even tell you what the price tag was. It was huge. Every appearance and contact can be valuable to you. Don't dismiss anybody. Because I can tell you, there's tons of people who never work with me, because I can tell how you looked at me when you came in the room. She ain't nobody. What's she gonna tell me? Nothing. That's exactly what I'm gonna tell you. Absolutely nothing. And we ain't gonna work together either. Because I can, your spidey senses get strong. I can tell if someone comes in the room and they want to really know what I do, or if this is the time for me to say, I'm a housewife, so you can get out of my face and leave me alone, because I know you're not bringing nothing to my table. It's simple. It's very simple. You can make an opportunity out of anything. One of the things that I looked up, my first performance at Fountaindale Public Library was in 1997. in what was the old library. They had Black History Month. I said, you know what? I live out here. We got no culture in Bolingbrook. Why don't I just go over to the library and ask them if they want a Black History thing? That thing got in the Tribune and on and on and on and on and on. I still have that article. And I looked it up today and I thought, 1997 says, some violas from Chicago Symphony comes out to the Fountaindale Public Library. I thought, 1997? Yeah. So I invest and work with what's around me. I've done silent film series here, which they've funded. I've done things with kids, and I've gotten a ton of advice from Studio 300, some stuff that I just didn't know. And had I not come in here and gone down there, there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't know how to do. It's stuff that I didn't generally do, because I have producers, but I needed to know how to be a little faster with some things. And so I go down and I bug Jeff, and I bug Justin, I bug Jeremy, I bug everybody. I forgot how to do this. Tell me. Repeat it for me. Thank you. You know, you're surrounded in this community by a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. A lot of people. I mean, you guys didn't know I was here in Bolingbrook. But I have filmmakers all over the world who are like, can you help me with this film? Can you help me with this music? Can you help me? Can you help me? Because somebody saw somebody said, is that the lady who showed the films in Paris last month? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a plane ride. You know, it's very, very simple. Very, very simple. Just go do it. Why? If you think you can't, then you won't. But everything's open. Everything's open to anybody. But if you aren't ready to pursue it, then drop out. Because there are a lot of people you need to get out of the way of. And that's what I counted on. I counted on everybody that was dabbling and said they wanted to do one film or two. Go do your one or two and then get out of the field. Because I was going to push through with hundreds. And that's what killed people. People are like, whoa, what has she not done? And now I'm just starting TV. Ain't telling nobody what I'm doing. I'm just sitting and working it. But I got hundreds of projects. And when it comes out, they still probably not going to know who the composer is or who the lady was or who the orchestra was. Don't care. If the check's cash, I don't care. I do not care. I'm here in Bolingbrook.
As far as talking about the checks cashing, how do you put a price tag on yourself? Because I know one time, something that really spoke volumes to me is when Dame Dash, one of my favorite executives, talked about knowing your own worth. Because there are producers out here, like they're just starting, they'll give their, all their rights away or they'll sell their tracks away for pennies. And it's like, how do you put that price tag on yourself? Or can you speak to the people, especially the younger generation, about knowing your own worth?
Well, first of all, you got to have something that's worth something. Concentrate on that first, honestly. If you hone your work, then you're going to have an arena of peers that you can compare work to. Like when I did the first commercial score, I called the producer in New York and I said, so what y'all getting for this kind of work? I've just got a call from a movie company that I'd never talked to. And he said, well, what did they offer you? And I told him, and then he said, I said, is that what y'all be making for all this work? He said, yeah. I said, okay, well, I'm not prepared to work for that. And he said, and if you go up, they'll probably never call you again. I said, oh, okay. They ain't got to call me but once. Call me once, meet my price, and then they did. They sent me a contract with the wrong price on it. I said, now I know I speak pretty good English. This is not the price. This is a live orchestra, and you're going to pay for the recording studio and the musicians and the engineer. No, not me. Because you're asking me to pay for the privilege of working for you. And that's what happens if you get in one little box and you think that that one opportunity is the only thing that's gonna come your way. Don't think like that. That's just like sitting and eating dinner going, oh, I'm gonna eat just one corner at a time because I may never get another dinner. No, you're gonna eat tomorrow. Enjoy this, savor this. I'm like, great, and wait for the next opportunity, wait for the next meal. The problem is we think too tiny. We think too tiny, and we think, oh, well, thus-and-so did it that way, and thus-and-so did it that way. I don't have time to just be reading autobiographies and biographies about how somebody got there, because I'm burning my candle. So I want to hurry up and get there. Now, that don't mean that you're going to always be super successful. I'm going to throw out the example of Vincent Van Gogh. You know who he is? Painter. You know who he was? One of the world's most famous painters. He sold one painting in his entire life while he was living. Was he a success? It just depends on what you call success. I don't call success people looking at my stuff after I die. It might be around, but I'm interested in now. The bank is over there, wire it there, so I can go to Aldi's or Trader Joe's or wherever that's success to me. Can I pay my car note? Can I pay my mortgage? Can I travel like I want? Can I do what I want? Yeah. I don't need the $600 million mansion. It's all drywall and painting wood. So I'm good with a little house in Bolingbrook, but able to live the kind of life that I want. So that's the other thing you have to think about. What is it that you want, and how bad do you want it? Or do you just like the idea of being known by your little friends? Hey, yeah, he raps. While you're handing out your mixtapes at school and giving your stuff away. Think bigger. Think big. Just think that there are no limits. Everything is possible. Everything. Everything's possible.
Other than that, I do want to thank you for stopping by. Once again, it's been a pleasure. If they want to get in contact with you, where can they find you at?
Facebook, Renee Baker, or don't ask to be a friend, because I don't have any more spots. But my email is reneebaker@comcast.net, and I do answer. I'm also on Twitter. Renee Baker, Renee Baker 55, Wabi House Media. Those are all me. So, yeah. But if you put in Renee Baker Composer, my website is reneebakercomposer.net.
All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a hand from Renee Baker.
Hey. Thanks for coming out.